Ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts. It's about to be a wild podcast. Hi, I'm Victoria Elizabeth. I'm your host today on Cleared for Takeoff podcast. And this is Katie Dean, our featured pilot today.
Hey guys!
We're going to talk about Katie's career in aviation, her career goals, and what she plans to do next. Stay tuned. So, Katie, I've got a couple questions for you today.
Yes.
How did we meet?
How did we meet? Oh gosh, this was over a year ago. We were formation flying in this plane actually behind us. And we went down to Stearman Airport and had some nice burgers. I got a kid's meal.
Oh, yes.
Classic
Love
cheeseburger.
that for you. Amazing.
Yes.
It's been quite an adventure we've had so far. We've gotten to go flying with each other a handful of times. And
Yeah, went to a museum last week.
Yes,
Yes.
we went to the Kansas Aviation Museum. That was pretty exciting.
Yes, it was. That was so fun.
Yes, absolutely. So where's your dream destination to fly?
Oh gosh. Well, I want to go all over. I can't. It's hard to pick just one, but so I would probably say like flying from like the East Coast to the West Coast. Like I think that'd be fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where would be your favorite stop along the way?
Ooh, that's a good question. I love Utah. I feel like flying through Utah would be fun. on the
Arches
way.
National Park.
Yes. If
Very nice.
I'm skilled enough, I could just. No, I wouldn't do that.
Right through the arch.
I'm ready. Hello, aviators. It's Katie into the arch.
Nice. Katie, now my next question for you is, do you have any family that's flown with you before?
So, yeah, all my family members, I have a brother and sister, and my parents have both flown with me, but they have only been up like 1 or 2 times.
Nice.
Yeah.
Were any of them ever afraid to go up?
Not really. My brother was more like indifferent about it, but when I took him up, he actually started a flight group for teenagers right after. So he's going to start learning to fly because I took him up. So,
Oh, that's so exciting.
yeah, I'm excited. And I'm hopefully getting my CFI soon, so I'll be his CFI at that time.
That'll be excellent. I'm sure he'll really love learning
I'm
from you.
excited. Yeah.
Amazing. And do you have any family members that are pilots?
So my uncle's a pilot. He's in Dallas, but he's the only one. My immediate family, we're not. No one's pilots. I'm the first one.
How about any other family in aviation?
So my mother is actually a CFO for an aviation company, a business aviation company here in Kansas. So that's kind of where I got my start, actually, was hanging around pilots and all those guys out there. And
Wow,
yeah.
that's excellent.
Yeah.
How did you get started in aviation?
So, like I said, my mom was a CFO for a business aviation company. And so growing up around pilots, I just saw the lifestyle and I love flying. I absolutely loved it. It's always kind of ever since I was in middle school is when I really wanted to start flying. And then my boss there, because I now work for that company, their ground crew, my boss referred me to Aviation Explorers. That's a good group for teenagers to learn how to fly. And so I started going there, ended up getting my private with them and starting that in high school. So when I started college, I went to Kansas State to their pilot program and came in with my private.
Wow, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Great to hear. How about your first lesson in aviation as a pilot? What was that like?
It was really nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
I've flown in a small plane once. This is actually the plane that I got my private in. First lesson, first everything, first solo.
Wow.
So I was never used to the small airplane. And then I went up for my first lesson and my instructor was like, okay, you're taking controls. And I was like, no, let's not. Like, can we maybe like dial this back a little bit? But I mean, it was fun. He had me do a couple turns. And, like I always see like when I fly other people, because I love flying kids up and like getting them used to like learning about aviation. And so I'll take them up, but it cracks me up every time because they do exactly what I did on my first lesson is when I'll have them take control and be like, okay, turn a little bit. And so they'll turn, but like they barely turn at all. Like, and my hands are always on the yoke. And so then I'll be like, okay, my controls, let me show you. And I'll just like crank it over a little bit hard enough. And they're like, whoa, like that's how I felt. Like, I don't know. It was just like, it was super nerve wracking. Yeah. It was fun. After that initial little scare, things started like falling into place really quick. And it's been hooked ever since.
That's excellent. I'm glad to hear that.
No more nerves. There are no more nerves.
No more nerves, everyone.
I'm a little bit more confident than that now.
Very well. How about your first solo? What was that like?
So my medical got deferred for 3 months. So being flying Part 61, we didn't have like a strict curriculum of how to learn to fly.
Yeah.
So I actually, when my medical got deferred, I decided to start backwards. So I did all my cross countries up until my solo cross countries first.
Wow.
So I soloed at like 50 hours, and like the day after I got my medical back is when I soloed.
Excellent.
So yeah, I was ready. Like it wasn't as nerve-wracking as I thought it would ever be, which it was still like crazy to me, and I was like super excited, like wow. But yeah, I felt really confident because I had so many hours under my belt, not like 20 what people are soloing at now. So
Right, absolutely. And when you soloed, where did you go?
the first solo, actually we just did laps in the pattern here.
Nice.
And then my second solo, I actually went out and I just did basic ground maneuvers, flew over my house, did my little wing wave to my parents.
Amazing.
So, yeah, it was so fun. Yeah.
Very neat. And what do you enjoy about flying?
All of it, honestly. My favorite feeling is taking off. I don't know why, but like when you take off, it just brings like this little adrenaline rush. Even I've done so many takeoffs and I still like get that little rush when I take off, and I like love it. And I just love the freedom that it brings. Like, you know, in like elementary school, they'll always tell you like the sky's the limit. Well, the sky is not the limit anymore. I'm in the sky, so you might need to find a new limit.
Right.
But, yeah,
I think the only ceiling you have to worry about is maximum operating altitude.
Pretty much.
And where have you flown to?
So, since I'm still kind of low hours, still flying little airplanes like these, I haven't flown very far. The farthest I've flown was with K-State, with the Air Race Club that I helped start. We flew to Alabama to help volunteer with the Air Race Classic.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
What part of Alabama did you fly to?
Muscle Shoals.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's to do out there?
There's an airport. That was pretty fun.
Nice.
We didn't really go around a lot. We volunteered all day, came back and like fell asleep and did it the next day. So we really pretty much went to the airport, and that was about it.
Hey, that's the highlight of every trip for me.
Right?
Nice. And what are your 2023 flying goals?
So my goal is, I'm 20 years old now. My goal, I have 6 months until I'm 21. My goal is to be multi-rated and CFI, get my CFI before I turn 21.
Amazing.
That is like my big goal this year. And then I also want to start flying full-time. So either that be CFI, that be business, or whatnot. But I want to start flying like way more, because I haven't flown like a month, because I'm kind of waiting for my multi.
Yeah.
So
understandable.
yeah.
Very nice. What was the hardest day you found while flying?
Gosh. Probably back in my private, like when I was getting my private. I had so many hours, but my landings were just, I couldn't master landings. And so like right before I soloed, I knew I was getting my medical back, and so we went up and practiced, and I just was having like the worst landings possible. And I like got so frustrated because I'm like, I have this many hours, and I'm doing so bad at landing. I'm not gonna be able to solo here in the next couple days. And so that was rough. But next day I came out and I had like perfect landings.
Amazing.
So I mean, you have good days and bad days, and that was just a pretty bad day. And it just being so high-houred, not soloing yet, that kind of kept me down. But yeah, probably the hardest day. Everything else has just been a breeze. I'm kidding.
Have you faced any adversity in aviation?
A little bit, yeah. Which, I mean, being a female comes with some adversity all in itself. I've had a lot of guys, because I go to an all-guys school. I had some guys, you know, oh, you're not as good as flying because you're a female. I've had a lot of that. But you kind of just have to brush it off. Remember that you're still good, and you work harder than anyone else to just make sure you can prove yourself and tell them it's all a lie. So
Right.
yeah.
Proud of you.
Thanks.
Yes. What is your career goals?
So when I started flying, I actually wanted to go airline. That's like the reason I started. That was my whole goal. That's why I went to a Part 141 school. And then I worked for an airline on their ground crew, and I learned that may not be the best idea for me. So I now recently, in the past like 6 months, have decided I want to go more into like business aviation.
Yeah.
And with my ultimate goal of being like a firefighter, that would be so fun. But I know it's really hard to get into, so I'm not like, I don't have like high hopes, but I'm still probably going to try.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you have to try, or you're not going to ever get it. But yeah, my main goal is business aviation, something along those lines.
Nice.
So
sounds exciting.
Yeah.
How about your current job?
So my current job, I am a hangar technician or hangar tech at a business aviation company here in Kansas, and yeah, that's kind of actually where I got the, I guess, fueled to do business. Is like I've seen their lifestyle and I've seen the airline lifestyle, and I like the business side better than I do airline. So yeah,
that's exciting. And how about your current impact from your job you have now on your career?
Like I said, working there and seeing that lifestyle, I've like grown to love it. Like I've seen the pilots come, I've talked to them, and they just love it. And a lot of them have come from the airlines.
Wow.
And so I've talked to them and like the differences in airline and differences in business, and they're like, yeah, we like business better. And so yeah.
Very nice.
I'm all for the business. All about business.
She's all about business. What was the duration it took to complete your ratings?
So private, I kind of did on the side while in high school. So that one took about 1.5 years. And then my instrument probably took about 6 months, and commercial about a year after. So I mean, 6 months to a year, I want to say, was probably the average.
Very nice. And how long do you think it'll take to complete your multi?
So I actually have it scheduled. Hopefully doing it starting February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day to me. Might be single, but I at least have my airplanes, so that's all I need. Yeah, so I have that on February 14th, and my check ride is scheduled for the 21st. So
Nice.
Hopefully it's not that long. So yeah.
That's exciting. And why did you choose to go to Kansas State?
So at the time of choosing colleges, I didn't even know K-State had a program. And then one of the pilots at my work told me that he went to K-State, and I was like, they have a program? Like, what? Because it's just like, it's not very popular. Like, you don't hear about it anywhere. So I ended up applying and realizing that that was like the only school in Kansas, and pilot program is really expensive.
Oh,
so I was like, well, I don't want out-of-state tuition. I want to be close to my family. And I actually, when I was looking at colleges, I knew I probably wouldn't have my private finished when I went to college. So my first semester, actually, I drove home every weekend to go fly.
Wow.
And finish my private, because this was like $100 cheaper, $200 cheaper than K-State.
Unbeatable.
Yeah. So I drove back, and it's not that far from my house.
Yeah.
So I applied to K-State, and I actually got some pretty good scholarships, and so that actually helped me pay for some of the flying. So I was like, this is perfect. And I've grown up to be a K-State. I'm in a K-State family. Go Cats. But yeah, so I grew up in the K-State family. I've always wanted to go to K-State, and then they had a pilot program in-state close to my house, and I was just like, this is perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How about your favorite lesson at K-State? What did you learn?
My favorite lesson is probably when I was doing my instrument. I had been doing instrument for a while, and I had never gotten actual. And my instructor texted me and was like, hey, I know it's not your day to go fly, but do you want to go fly and get some actual? And I was like, yeah, duh. So we came out to the airport, and he was telling me how like everyone has this tendency to turn. I think it was right when they first go into actual. I don't know why, but so I'm like, okay, I can't turn right. And so I like got in the clouds, and I was doing it like perfectly fine. Like I never turned or anything. And I remember my instructor was like, wow, you're doing really good. I was like, how am I doing this good? Like I thought I would turn right. And he goes, I guess you're a machine or something. And I don't know if you've seen Bert, I forgot his last names, the Russian Mafia video, the comedy video. But he like goes to Russia, and he's talking about how the only words he knew in Russian were, I'm a machine. I think he went to Russia. But and so when my instructor said that, I knew he loved this video, and so I turned to him. I was like, "I'm the machine!" And him and I just started like cracking up, and that was so fun. I love flying in actual, and the entire lesson was fun. I learned a lot from that day, but yeah.
Very nice. And can you tell us what actual is?
So flying in actual is like flying in a cloud when you can't see literally anything in front of you, and it's crazy. But yeah, so it's actual just flying in the clouds. So simulated is with those little foggles that like half your vision is gone, and they look absolutely ridiculous. But so that way you can't see outside, but you can still see your instruments when you fly.
Very nice. So can you tell us about a little bit more of what you do when you're flying in actual? How do you get around the skies?
So when you're flying in actual, you have to rely on your instruments. Yeah. You have like an eye scan going of the instruments. And they'll teach you like the different approaches. Like if there's clouds are like 600 feet above the ground, well, how in the world do pilots like somehow land like right on the runway? Like it's crazy. Well, we have like approaches we have to learn and everything like that. And so it's a lot that goes into it. It's a really hard rating, but it's so worth it. And that was my favorite, was the entire instrument rating.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And what was your favorite plane that you've flown?
Gosh, I have flown so many. My favorites are probably the F-33 Bonanza. That was my favorite. I got my high performance complex in that.
Very nice.
Or I do really like the Cirrus. K-State got some brand new Cirruses. I can't remember like which ones, but brand new Cirruses. Those were really fun to fly too. So probably one of those.
Wow, that's really exciting. I have a question about the Cirrus.
Yes.
When you fly that, is there any preparation it takes to get the parachute ready in case you need to deploy it?
It should already be like ready when they come in. Because if you deploy that parachute, the plane is actually totaled.
Oh, goodness.
So, so it's already come prepared. So I don't have to touch it. Thank goodness. Or we may not be landing. There's a reason I'm not a skydiver, like packing parachutes. Yeah. Not a good idea.
Gotcha. And what's your dream plane to fly?
I do like a lot of military airplanes.
Yes.
So probably like something military. Like I love the DC-3. I really, really, really want to fly those. Those would be so fun. Really anything bigger than a 4-seater would be a dream of mine.
Very nice.
Yeah.
How about your career goals? What's your dream plane to fly for work?
That's kind of hard because really, I mean, I could fly anything. I would be totally happy flying anything. Growing up, I've always wanted to fly like a 747. Still think that'd be pretty cool. Yes. Still a dream. But I mean, if I'm in business aviation, that may not happen. I mean, you never know. But so I don't know. I kind of would be okay with anything. But if since I was a little girl, I would say 747.
Very nice. What are your future plans for yourself in aviation?
So I'm not really sure. This past 6 months, I've kind of had like a whole change of everything. I came into K-State with my do professional pilot. Ended up dropping that 6 months ago. So now I'm doing a business aviation degree. So that's more of like a backup. I still want to fly, still want to do all that. So my dreams are changing. They used to be a commercial or airline, like I said. Now I want business. So really, I don't know. Kind of just flying by the seat of my pants, quite literally,
very
and
well.
figuratively.
That's a good way to be.
I'm spontaneous.
As you should be. Life's a daring adventure or nothing at all.
Yes.
And how about where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years, I hope to be flying in like business aviation.
Yeah.
Not sure if I want to stay in Kansas, but I wouldn't say no to staying in Kansas. I mean, I have my family here, and I love my family. So probably here in Kansas, flying business, it'd be the best for me. Hopefully married, but no hopes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. In 10 years, I'm going to have kids, 2 kids. Because if you can only fit 2 kids in the back of a 4-seater airplane.
There you go.
Thinking smart.
I like how you're thinking ahead. Do you have any advice for any aspiring pilots?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. aviation can be difficult, especially for young women. So definitely just keep your head in it. I mean, if you love this so much, then make it worth it. It's been the best thing ever. I mean, it's been the hardest thing I've ever had to go through, but I would never change it for the world. And so if you love it this much and you started flight training, you know you love it, just keep going. Because I promise it gets better. Like the moment you get your private, the moment you get your instrument, the next rating, like you just have like this sense of, wow, you really did this. Like, so just prove to yourself, not to others, that you can do it. And that's it. And we're right rudder. Use right rudder.
Right rudder.
Right rudder.
Got it.
Right rudder.
Well, Katie, thank you so much for coming on. It's been such a pleasure visiting with you.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Good luck on all your future endeavors. I can't wait to see what you do next.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yes. And thank you to our sponsors, Duchess Air, as well as Zephyr Aviation, Pilot Wallet. Get yours today. All right. Bye-bye.